Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatang Vitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Purijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitangscha Om Jnana Timrandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Mukham Karoti Vachalam Bhango Langhayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamahang Vande Sri Gurun Dinatarinam Nindantam Pulakot Karena Bikasam Nipa Prasunachchavim Prodrikritva Bujadvayam Hari Hari Ituchaivadantam Muhu Nrityantam Drutamashru Nirjara Chaye Sinchantam Urvitalam Gayantam Nija Parasadai Parivratam Sri Gaura Chandram Numa Ananda Lila Maya Vigrahaya Hemava Divyachchavi Sundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasa Pradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste. Yes, Prabhu.
Dandavat Maharaj. We have a question from Lakshmi Rani Didi, Mauritius, initiated by Srila Govinda Maharaj. Dandavats, please accept my humble obeisances. I have the following question to which I will be eternally grateful to have an answer. Being devotees in Krishna consciousness, we are aware of the fact that these life sufferings are karmic reactions of our previous birth. How far is it justified or unjustified for devotees to present their problems in front of Krishna, to present their problems in front of Krishna, and ask for His mercy to take us out of these problems? Specifically asking about a health problem that is causing hindrance in seva. However, being aware of the fact that this health problem is most certainly a karmic reaction of my previous actions in previous birth, I would feel ashamed to ask Krishna to get me out of this problem. Can devotees ask from Krishna to relieve them from severe illnesses?
I think that she knows the answer to this question because it's within her question. Devotee implies servitor, aspiring servitor, which means that we don't want to take service from Krishna, but to offer service to Krishna. Right? This is the difference between, say, karma yoga and bhakti yoga, really. Jnana karma janavritam. The layers of karma and jnana have to be removed. The ulterior motive for action cannot be there in service proper. Right? So what we're left with is how to interpret the circumstances that we're in. Right? Srila Guru Maharaj, he would sometimes say, there was a German scholar who read Bhagavad Gita, and he concluded, this is the highest book, and its message is that, cure thyself, not to quarrel with the environment, but if any adjustment is to be made, it can be your the perspective you have internally about why you're in this situation, as she implies, and the expectation of Krishna's mercy. But we shall not expect Krishna's mercy that it will be according to our liking or how we would like to see some material circumstance adjusted. Because then, again, we would be putting ourselves in the superior position and asking Krishna to serve us. We're told, Bilva Mangal Thakur says in one place, Mukti Mukali Tanjali Sevatesman Dharmartha Kama Moksha Dharmartha Kama Pataya Pratiksha. I forget the words now. Samaya Pratiksha. Right? Saying that Mukti, the Siddhis, everything is waiting with folded palms to serve the devotees. But we're told by our Guru Varga, they're not employing that. They're not taking advantage of that on their own accord. So from a pure devotional perspective, the only concern is, what is Krishna's desire? What is the will of Krishna? Krishna Icha, the will of Krishna. Right? So it may be that adverse circumstances are favorable to devotional culture. That's also possible, as we see in the prayers of Queen Kunti, Vipadak Shantu Shashvat Tatra Tatra Jagadguru Bhavato Darshanam Yatshad Apunar Bhava Darshanam, where it's quite peculiar to hear her say that when everything is harmonious from a material point of view, there's a tendency to be distracted, lulled into complacency by that, and the implication being forgetful of you. Guru Maharaj reminds us, he says, the only thing we have to fear is Maya and forgetfulness of our Lord and our guardians, Hari Guru and Vaishnava. He's saying forgetfulness of our guardians, that's the cause of the disastrous situation that we find ourselves in. Which is what? A world that's characterized by the miseries of Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi, Dukkha, Doshano, Darshanam. Right? These are the inescapable sufferings of material existence for everyone and different stages of life or existence. So it is the so-called karmi who's praying to Krishna to get relief from the impending karmic reactions that they've generated. Right? And we could say from another point of view, the accompanying suffering of those reactions may ultimately have a favorable effect. Right? Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in Jaiva Dharma, he gives this example about putting gold in fire. Right? And I've seen this at the Lucky Narayan Babu goldsmith in Calcutta. Lucky meaning L-A-K-H-I, Lakshmi, Bengali short for Lakshmi. Lucky. When I was very interested to see how they do this, because it was so, I wouldn't say medieval, but like 19th century. And so I'm waiting to, I've heard about this, I'm waiting to see it, but before he does that, he takes the gold and immerses it in a flame and fire, and I'm going like, and I see before my eyes it's covered in black soot, and then he wipes off the black soot and then scrapes it against the touchstone and says whether it's 12, 14, 18, 22, 24, like that. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says that the suffering of material existence is like that fire. Right? You put the gold in the fire and then it's covered in the soot for some time, And then when you wipe away the soot, what you're left with is pure gold. He's saying, so, is the fire a bad thing? Is the fire an undesirable thing? And forgive me for, I'm speaking philosophically now. I don't mean to be insensitive or to minimize anyone's personal suffering, but we're giving a philosophical overview of how to interpret suffering, you could say. So, if Bhaktivinoda Thakur's point is if this fire brings it to the pure gold stage, then by analysis we see that it has some value that's not unfavorable to devotional culture. And I've mentioned previously, when I lived in San Francisco, I was near the fire chief's house. And firemen, they're famous for polishing their brass machines and paraphernalia. And there was a plaque outside that was very shiny and bright and looked like it was being polished daily. And it had a couplet or some lines of poetry. And remember, they're firemen. That's the significant thing to remember. And the verse says, by fire shall hearts be proven, lest virtue's gold grow dim. Right? By fire shall hearts be proven, lest virtue's gold grow dim. So Kunti Devi, she's saying, when the fire is there, when the adversity comes, at that time I become more dependent upon you. My remembrance of you intensifies, and in so doing, Vipadat Shantushat Tak Shashvat Tatra Tatra Jagar Bhavato Darshanam Yatsyad, and having your darshan, Apunar Bhava Darshanam, getting your darshan through this sort of intense meditation that can be the outcome of dealing with adverse circumstances, frees me from Bhava Darshanam. That means the world. The Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Dosha, that world. I get freed from that. So, and this is the part that is, up to this point, we're maybe okay with it, but she's Queen Kunti, this great devotee, divine lady, and she says, then I'm thinking, for me, adversity would be better, to embrace adversity. Now, we're not going to pray for that, but when we're put in some very difficult circumstances, it may serve as a cause for more intense remembrance and dependence upon Krishna. And one thing to remember in the midst of it is also, it's not that Krishna is unaware and needs to be informed. Minimally, Andantarastam Paramanu Chayanta, as the Paramatma, is aware of everything. And she alludes to these past actions. He's aware of those also. As Krishna tells Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacharjana. Says Arjuna, many births, because Arjuna was saying, like, you say you instructed the science of karma yoga to the sun god, but that would have been millions and millions of years ago. How? And he says, Arjuna, many births you and I have had, but I remember all of them, and you don't. And additionally, we can add, and I know all of yours. Right? So Krishna accompanying the oversoul, upadrasta, upadrastanumantacha, bharta bhota, maheshwara, paramatmeti, chapayukto, dehesmen, purusha apara. We're like two birds on a tree. One bird is enjoying the fruits, and it's the tree of karma, of action, and the other bird is in a neutral position, an observer, non-interfering. Right? So, the idea that we should have to, in a sense, inform Krishna about the situation and then plead for some exemption to this particular suffering, it runs counter to the devotional current. Right? In fact, Srila Prabhupada mentioned so many times that he said, the position of a devotee will be, whatever suffering has come to me is like a token punishment. Their thoughts will be, in consideration of my life and my past, I warrant more, but Krishna's mercifully minimizing that. But as she rightfully identifies it as being karmic in nature. Right? Yeah. It's a karmic circumstance that's been generated. Right? Srila Rupa Goswami mentions in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that, quoting the Padma Purana, karma bij, karma pal, that the 4 stages of karmic reaction. He's saying there's a karmic seed, a sprout, blossom, fruit. Right? So how complex this is. As Guru Maharaj would say, when you're back to that original Gita reference, it is untenable for us to try and control the world, in essence. There's so many karmic actors. We're not the only one. Right? There's thousands, millions, billions of karmic actors. Right? When karma is discussed by Krishna with Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, it's very interesting. You know, he's saying that even the learned are sometimes bewildered and trying to understand the intricacies of karma. And so one of the first things he tells Arjuna is that it's complicated. Like, that's what he's saying. It's complicated. Because factor in the Padma Purana, we have karmic seeds from our past that are in different stages of development. Right? So some are seed-like, some have sprouted, some are blossoming, and some are bearing fruit. And we're in the present circumstance, we're generating more, right? In real time. So there's real-time karmic generation and development. Then, and not only that, that's ourselves individually, then there's collective karma. We see the world right now, collective karma manifesting. From how complex it is, we think, what did these people have in common that they're now sharing this collective karma? Right? It's complicated. So millions and billions of actors in the plane of karmic activity. So to try and modify that in such a way that we will be immune to reaction or suffering is impossible. Right? What we can do is interpret It's how we interpret these circumstances. That is left to us. Right? So, earlier in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna, Matra sparshas tu konteya shitoshna sukadukada agama payano nityas tang stitikshasva bharata. He's saying, worldly circumstance is like seasonal changes. Heat, cold, happiness, distress. What Freud called the pleasure principle is that people are always trying to minimize suffering and maximize enjoyment. So he's saying, and elsewhere in the Bhagavatam, what is it? Tasyeva hetu prayate tu kopido nalabhyate tad brahmatamuparyada. Brahmatamuparya means wandering throughout the universe, experiencing favorable conditions, unfavorable conditions, relatively speaking, and going up, down in the, in terms of mundane assets. Like what does it say in the Gita? Ashnanti divyan divi devi bhogan. Heavenly enjoy. If you accumulate a certain amount of karmic assets, you can enjoy heavenly pleasures for so long. When that's exhausted, again come down to this plane. And it's also possible to rescend lower. So, Krishna tells Arjuna, so what should be your default mode? Toleration. Tang stiti kshasva bharata. Then you can't control the weather, you can't control these karmic circumstances, this vast complexity. So Arjuna, tolerate it. That's the first plan for defense, to be tolerant. But Guru Maharaj tells us in the Bhagavatam, it goes deeper, beyond the advice to merely tolerate. And the prayers of Brahma, the Brahma Stuti, Tatenu kampam susamikshamano, munjana evatmam kritam vipakam, ridvag vapubir, vidadam namaste, jiveta yo mukti pade sadayabak. So, back to how we perceive the circumstance. So, samiksha means to examine, right? But here it says, tatenu kampam susamiksha. Susamiksha means to scrutinize, to use greater scrutiny. And what it means is, on one level, we see this is undesirable, or an impediment, an obstacle. And in that sense, unfavorable, undesirable, unwanted. It's a cause of disturbance in our lives. Frustration. He's saying, but that's from one level of observation and analysis. Susamiksha means, but if you look deeper, go deeper beyond what is observable. He said, then you will see, and this is devotional culture, the friendly hand of Krishna in the background. And you might think, well, why would friendly Krishna do something like this to me? Gita, Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhridam Sarvabhutanam Gyatva Mam Shantim Richtiti. There is an analogy. I'm controlling everything. Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Right? Everything's ultimately meant to please me. Bhokta. Bhoktaram Yagyata. And it says yagya, I mean the outcome of whatever it is you're doing. If you're doing something substantial. It's meant to be, I'm the Yagyabhuk, the enjoyer of that. And remember in these prayers of Brahma, that it's Brahma who also said, I'm familiar with him as Yagyabhuk, who at the end of the yagya, the sacrifice, it's, that's how the Lord eats, Lord Narayan. But that personality could be sitting on the banks of the Jamuna with his cowherd boyfriends having a picnic. That I never thought of. Remember, these prayers are when Brahma's realizing the mistake that he's made. He's mistaken the youth and the childlike nature and pastimes of Krishna as some sort of disqualification for divinity. He's saying, now Narayan, that's a God we can all believe in. But that this boy, and I see all these gods and goddesses losing their minds, singing and dancing, praising him as if he's the supreme reality. So it was Brahma who made this point about Yagyabhuk, so that he normally, after he's come to his senses, saying, normally you, the culmination of a yagya or sacrifice is in feeding you. But here, who could imagine such delightful pastimes with you having a picnic with your intimate friends on the bank of the Jamuna? So, Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheswaram. Then you think, so someone in such a big position, how could they have any interest in us? The supreme controller of everything? The saying, not a blade of grass moves without the will of God, comes to mind. And also that once one of Guru Maharaj's relatives observed that he was too detached from material life and too inclined for theistic culture. So he thought to sort of stun him by telling him something that would discourage him from pursuing that further. So he said, do you know there are some stars, they're so far away, they're light traveling at, 176,000 miles, what is it in kilometers? Per hour? Per second? Anyway, the speed of light.
No, speed of 300,000.
All right, 300,000 kilometers per second. He's saying, so their light, they're so far away, their light has not reached us. If there is a God, do you think he has any time for people like us? Or we're of any significance to him? So far away. But he didn't realize that Guru Maharaj is, and you say, regulated by Shastra and Shastric evidence, even when he was very young. So Guru Maharaj said, I recalled the Upanishad, the Ishopanishad. Tad ejati, tad naijati, tad dure, tad antike, taru sarvasya shabha. Taru sarvasya shabha. Anyway, I forgot one line. Tad ejati, tad naijati, tad dure, tad antike. That's the line I want to say. He said, but in the Upanishad, Ishopanishad, he's tad dure. You're right, so far away. But tarantike, that he is everywhere, in everything. Is there any place God is not? So again, I say that because it brings us some hope. Krishna is not unaware of your situation. And he is not insensitive or cruel or unfair. When someone wrote a book saying, why, the title of which was, Why Do Bad Things Happen to Good People? I didn't read the book, but the answer in a word is karma. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And we have no one to blame for that. Krishna is not to blame for that. We have generated these circumstances. Right? So the next line, he says, so that person who's so far away but very near, who's in control of everything, everything is meant ultimately to please him. As Guru Maharaj would say sometimes, we should remember, all events are not meant to please me. Seems it should go without saying, but he said it. All events are not meant to please me. When he would say, as is heard so many times amongst the, wait and see. But it wasn't just, enigmatic, wait and see, or plucked out of thin air. He said, wait and see which way the divine will moves next. All events are not meant to please me. These sort of considerations. Still, so the person who's in charge of everything, by whose will not even a blade of grass moves without his will. Next line, Suhridam Sarvabhutanam. And I'm the dearmost friend of every living being. I'm friendly to you. I'm not inimical to you. The teacher who calls a pop quiz, a flash quiz, pop quiz, is not inimical to the students. They may think that. They may think, why am I being tested like this? Our teacher is so cruel. We've had this experience. Everyone's sort of going along, paying attention or not, daydreaming or not, and the teacher may observe certain things about the students. And then say, all right, everybody, close your books. Quiz. And then there's a chorus of groans. Oh. And someone might think, oh, our teacher, we have a bad teacher, a mean teacher, a cruel teacher. But actually, by having to be tested in that way, right? By fire shall hearts be proven. By being tested in that way, then the students will see where their weaknesses are. Right? So in that sense, then we can see the teacher is the benevolent guardian of those students. So Krishna saying, I'm ultimately controlling everything. And it is right for a devotee to think, all right, this has come to me, it's warranted. It's, my karmic destiny. I did not come to Krishna consciousness to get relief from karma. Right? When the gopis make that point to Krishna in Kurukshetra, that we're not karmis, or we didn't come to you to, oh Lord, save me, impending karmic reactions are coming, or jnanis or yogis. So, Suhridam Sarvabhutanam, and then he says what I think is most valuable to hear in this case. He says, Gyatva mam shantim rijtati. Knowing this, knowing these things, that I'm in control of everything, and that who's in control of everything is your dearmost friend. Gyatva mam shantim rijtati. Then you'll get shanti, peace. Right? Look, Guru Maharaj would say in explaining the Shikshastakam of Mahaprabhu, the fourth verse, Nadanam Najanam Dasundarim Kavitamba Jagadisha Kamaye Mama Janmani Janmani Share Bhavatad Bhakti Rahoitaki Toyi. Mama Janmani Janmani Share. We won't think like this about Mahaprabhu, but it's within the context of instruction. So Guru Maharaj says, he's saying, by my karma, I'll have to be born again and again. That's the meaning of Janmani Janmanishware. He used that word. He said, my karma will dictate that I be born again and again. But what is my concern? Bhavatat bhaktir ahoituki toi. I want causeless devotion to you, not that has some underlying motive, right, to get free from something or anything like that. Just pure devotion. Saying, as my karma is playing out, I may be born again and again, lifetime after lifetime. And suffering warranted karmic reactions. That's not my concern. Right? When Chitraketu was cursed by Parvati for his perceived insult to Shiva, and Parvati, in essence, told him, go to hell. But like a curse. I curse you, go to hell. You dare insult my Lord and Master this way. And we're told that Chitraketu is like, I shall go immediately. And we're told at that point, Shiva says, Narayana parak sarve na kutaschana bibyati swarg apavarg narakeshu tulyartha darshina. Just see the devotees of the Lord. No concern about heaven or hell, just as long as that service connection is there. Right? And we're called to mind the devotion of Kolavecha Sridhar, Mahaprabhu's devotee, who we're told was so poor that he's selling plates and cups made out of plantain leaves. Right? But whatever income he gets from that, 50% is immediately employed in Ganga Puja. Right? He's so poor. 50% in Ganga Puja. And on the other 50%, somehow surviving. How poor was he? We're told he had this water pot that was basically like corroded, rusted, had hole, it was a discarded, useless water pot. But when Mahaprabhu came from the inauguration of Nagar Sankirtan, the Nam Sankirtan movement, that evening when with torches they went to the streets and the sky was illumined like the Brahma Jyoti. They're taking the holy name of Krishna. From all the singing and dancing, Mahaprabhu was thirsty. He stopped at Kolavecha Sridhar's, and devotees were like, no, they didn't want. And he took that water pot and drank it like he was ingesting some sweet nectarine substance because of the devotion of Kolavecha Sridhar. So during the Mahaprakash, remember, he's come as to explore Bhaktabhav, as a Swa Bhaktebhya Sudham Nidabhajanam Upadishan, Mudra Upadishan, with his devotees. But there are, on the road from Bhaktabhav to the depths of Radhabhav, there are here his, his temporary insanity is to show his divinity. So, and the Mahaprakash, he's on the Vishnu throne, the Singhasan, and he's as the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, benedicting all of the devotees with whatever their heart's desires are. He's offering that to them. It's like a special divine dispensation. You know. And when it comes to Kolavecha Sridhar, so we're saying, he's so poor, he has nothing. What will he ask for? And we must preface this by saying, and previously, when Nimai Pandit is wandering about Navadvip, that he would always approach Kolavecha Sridhar and want to buy his leaf plates and cups. And Kolavecha Sridhar would say, well, here's the price. And Nimai Pandit would go, oh, that's way too much. He's making nothing and spending half on Ganga Puja. And Nimai Pandit goes, that's not a good price. This guy down by the Ghats selling them for half that. Then buy from him. You know, no, I want to do business with you. And so he would always haggle and get him to give a special discount to them. The man who had nothing would discount further and further and further. Tolerate this apparent abuse of Nimai Pandit. So when it came time in the Mahaprakash, Sridhar, whatever you desire, I'll grant that to you. He said, my Lord, my only prayer is that Brahmin, Nimai Pandit, may come birth after birth and cheat me as he does. And that's why a spotlight is shown upon him as being a pure devotee. So, but as circumstances become more adverse, does Krishna become more merciful? Right? It's mentioned, alluded to in the Bhagavatam, that devatas descend, they're waiting in line to take birth in the Kali Yuga, because although it's, from one point of view, the most degraded age, the greatest magnitude of mercy is being distributed. Kaler doshini de rajan, astiheko mahagunaha. That if we make a proper assessment, we'll conclude the Kali Yuga is doshini day. What's wrong with it? An ocean of faults, an ocean of inauspiciousness, an ocean of things gone wrong. Doshini de raja astiheko maha. But there's one great mahaguna, great quality that cancels all the inauspiciousness. Kirtanad eva krishnasya mukta sangat parambrajet. That through Hari Kirtan, Nam Sankirtan, Krishna Katha, and Guru Maharaj's words, not only are you given relief from all negative involvement, but you're giving entrance into the positive domain. So, in the Prapanna Jivanamritam, and also in his talks, Srila Guru Maharaj, when he's talking about surrender, Sharanagati, he says, Goptritve Bharan, that is the Mukhya Anga, the principal limb, and all the others are Vaibhavs, or extensions of that. And he says, what does that mean? The devotee taking shelter of Krishna and seeking his protection. But that will be based from Krishna's point of view. Right? We don't question that. And it will be natural for a devotee, when it comes to surrender or sharanagati, to think of themselves as unfit, unqualified, unsurrendered. When Srila Guru Maharaj was with some Gaudiya Math devotees walking on the beach in Jagannath Puri, there was one man accompanying the group, and he was very eager to explore the subject of surrender or sharanagati. And he said, is it through sharanagati, by surrendering to the Lord, that you get His shelter and protection and you get everything? Bhagavat, Bhakti Tat Sarvam, Iti, Usrija Viderapi, Kainkarjam Krishna Padaika, Shrayatam Sharanagati. It will give you everything. And they're, yes. He said, then you want to know what level of Sharanagata I am? You see the ocean there? If you tell me to jump in, I'm prepared to do that. And Guru Maharaj said, it's a group of devotees that are like walking along the beach, and they look at Guru Maharaj like, what? What do we say to that? He's going, I see that, you tell me to jump in, I'm that surrendered, I'm ready to go. And they looked to Guru Maharaj for an answer, an explanation, and Guru Maharaj said, that is the opposite of surrender. This type of bravado. He said, an actual surrendered soul will feel themselves unfit, incapable, unqualified. Right? That state puts one at the mercy of Krishna. That is the proper attitude for presenting oneself to Krishna, for shelter and protection. Want, being in want, feeling oneself unqualified and unable. So I detect this, and what has been expressed here, really she knows the answers to these things. She's saying, I'm ashamed to approach, yes, that is the right, we will think, let me be a surrendered soul. Under the guidance of Guru and Vaishnava, let me aspire to serve, to become a surrendered soul. And in my helplessness, doinya atmani vedam. Bhaktivinoda sometimes presents in that way in his Sharanagati, beginning with doinya. That means, in this case, you could say hopeless, helpless, fallen. Doin, and what does it lead to? Atmani vedan. Then I have no other recourse than to surrender myself. And Gopri Baran, we can expect Krishna's shelter and protection. But we do not want to be, on the Christian side, Prabhupada would call it, what did he say? Order supplier. You know, God give us our daily bread, that concept. What we can get from Him, what He can supply to us. And on the Indian side of the spectrum, karma kanda. Whatever our karmic circumstances, trying to impose that upon the higher. It's not pure devotion. Even in activities that might on the surface appear to be devotional activities. Guru Maharaj would quote Professor Sanyal saying, if I go to read the Bhagavatam under the order of Guru and Vaishnava, it may be devotion. He said, but on my own account, then it's karma, karma kanda. He said it may also be vikarma. It may be an undesirable thing. So it speaks to motive. So really, we're under the guidance of our Guru Varga, trying to just offer ourselves in service, right? Unconditionally, right? Without any expectation. Toward the end of Chaitanya Charitamrita, it says, Das kori beton mori deho premadan. Das, let me serve. Beton means salary. Das kori beton mori deho premadan. Some prem, some love and affection. And what does it say for Brahma? Tateno kampam susamikshimano bunjana evatmam kritam vipakam hridvag vapubir vidada namaste jiveti yo mukti padesadaiva. But here's the word I want to. It says hridvag vapubir. And how shall you do this? You can say, oh, with your body, mind, word, but the word used here, it says hrit, with your heart. That there has to be some heart in it. That means the deep heart's core, some consciousness. After all, we're trying to cultivate Krishna consciousness. So that means with some consideration, with some feeling, to perform simple acts of devotion under the guidance of Sadhu Shastra, Guru and Vaishnava. Hare Krishna. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Paribrajaka Asatara Sada Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakhak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Saparikar Sri Sri Guru Gauranga Gandharva Govinda Sundar Ju Ki Jai. Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai, Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Govinath Shyamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Navadip Dham Ki Jai, Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai, Shri Gupta Govardhan Ki Jai, Ganga Devi Jamuna Devi Bhakti Devi Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Om Vishnupad Vishvavaranya Srilesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Madhacharya Brinda Ki Jai, Jai Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadut Maharaj Ki Jai, Jai Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj Ki Jai, Jai Shri Bhakti Lalita Devi Dasi Ki Jai, Seva Vrinda Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai, Paramananda Prabhu Ki Jai, Seva Vrinda Ki Jai, Bhakta Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Nitai Go Premanande. Hare Krishna.
Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. And Maharaj, Dandavats from our viewers all around the world, from devotees, and Bhakti Lata Didi from Moscow. Actually, the question we had from her that you just have fully covered about what does it mean Karma Yoga. She sends her Dandavats. Madhavendu Prabhu, Belarus, Ukraine. Krishna Sharan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavats. Gaur Shakti Das, Adelaide. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams to Srila Goswami Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj, for your amazing pravachans. We are grateful for your wonderful service. Your significant slave, Gaur Shakti Das, Adelaide. Kshama Buddhi Prabhu, Suchitra Didi, Kaushalendra Prabhu,
and
Lakta. Nadia Barandich, no spiritual name mentioned, but she's offering dandavats and flowers, emoticon flowers. Dhananjay Das dandavats.
Which Dhananjay?
Russia, Siberia, Bersk. Dandavat Pranams, Srila Maharaj from Nam Bhikshu Das in New York. relishing your kathas daily. Thank you for doing this consistently. Ratin Prabhu, Moscow. Dimitrenko, Bhaktilata Didi, Moscow. Eram A, Madhur Sundar Prabhu, Madhavi Didi, Hungary. Dhananjaya Prabhu, Rome. Praneshwari Didi, Ajita Krishna. Audarya Leela Didi, Ratin Prabhu again. Atala Krishna Prabhu, Hungary. Atul. My bad. Atul Krishna Prabhu, Hungary. And this afternoon, Hrishikesh Maharaj from Abkhazia was sending his dandavats to you and all the devotees. Jai.
Vansakalpatribhyascha kripa sindhu evata patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.